I'm Melvin Carter. I'm the mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota.
If ICE were to carry out a similar midway blitz type operation that they're carrying out in Chicago right now, what would your response be?
Our goal is not to wait for ICE to start something before we start. Our response has already started. We have already filed 3 federal lawsuits against ICE. We've successfully won injunctions in 2 of them. We just got sued by ICE last month for, they said, discriminating against ICE agents, which is absurd and a heck of a take on the Constitution. But our first goal is to fight them in court at every step along the way. One of the next lawsuits that we're forming is, in following the city of LA's footsteps, is against them using masks and disguises and operating without showing a warrant or badges or things like that. So our first step would be to block them at every step that we can in the courts. Other cities have had limited success doing that. The other step would be to let them know, as we have from the beginning, that there's just no scenario in which our St. Paul police officers turn into ICE agents.
Can you tell me one way that public safety is different now than it was in 2020 in St. Paul?
Oh, we don't have time for me to tell you how many ways St. Paul public safety is different. We have gun violence down 70% in our city right now. We're a city of 300,000 people. We have 9 homicides in St. Paul, and we have 9 suspects in custody for them. All of those things come from a decision we made a couple of years ago. I inherited a city that solved about just over 20% of non-fatal gunshot wounds. We decided a couple of years ago that if somebody gets shot in their pinky toe in St. Paul today, we're going to respond to that. You're going to see the St. Paul Police Department do the exact same thing they would if it was a homicide. We've taken that 22% solve rate for non-fatal gunshot wounds to over 70%, and that's helped us drive gunfire way down in this city.
There was a cyber attack this summer against St. Paul. What are some of the biggest lessons you took away from that?
We did have a cyber attack that came against our city. One of the things I've learned is, and any cyber attack, any cyber expert would tell you that every organization is going to go through that at some point in time. That right now, the way the environment is, your expectations shouldn't be for nobody ever to get into your systems. The goal should be to have the technology to flag it quickly, which our systems did. And to have the people in place who know how to, what to do when they see those signals, which they did. So we're really pleased with the way that that our team responded to that. We've seen other organizations like Google just got hacked last month and shared that some of their data got stolen. So our goal is to constantly be in a state where we are increasing our preparedness for attacks like that in the future.
What would your message be to some small business owners who want to invest in St. Paul, but given the way the cyber attack happened and some of the challenges they're facing, they're feeling a little bit more apprehensive, maybe not as excited as they once were? What would you tell them?
Well, we're also in the process right now of switching all of those ways in which people file for permits or licensing or schedule inspections or even pay for things online, to switch all of it to remote, all of it to virtual, so that we can do all of that online, whether that's applying for a permit, whether that's paying for that, whether that's even some type of permits or inspections that we can conduct remotely through a camera phone. So some of that there was a hiccup, obviously, when the cyber attack interrupted all of our systems, but looking forward, those processes will all be fundamentally easier than they ever have been in this city.
I just want to get your thoughts on its implementation in St. Paul. Would you do anything differently? Do you like how it's been implemented so far?
Well, we think that we supported the city council making bigger steps to amend it a couple of years ago. We were really happy that we were able to work with the city council to exclude new construction from that. A housing crisis, we all talk about a housing crisis, that ultimately just means that we have more people than units. We need more housing units. I keep telling the city, we need to do everything we can to build as much more housing as we can, as fast as we can. And so excluding new construction to continue to bring in kind of those outside investors, I think has always been something that's critical that we needed to do. And so we got that done just a couple of months ago, and we're happy to see the way housing construction has really picked back up in our city since we did.
What can the mayor's office do directly to contribute to the revitalization of downtown?
Oh, a whole lot. You're right. This has been a conversation in downtown for a very long time. And by a long time, it's not months or even years, it's decades. I remember when I was a kid reading the stories about how Town Square, or whatever the newest office building, was going to save our downtown. Just about a year and a half ago, we had our biggest property owner downtown who suddenly died, and that whole portfolio collapsed. It didn't collapse because it was so stable before he passed away. It was always unstable. But here's the thing. Our downtown, the downtown I grew up with, was centered around department stores, which the internet happened to, office buildings, which COVID changed our work patterns and emptied out office buildings all over the country, and also the Excel Arena, now the Grand Casino Arena. Our goal is to renovate the that Grand Casino Arena so that it can be a centerpiece of our downtown for the future. One of the pillars that should have been established as a pillar for our downtown a generation ago is this: every downtown that fared best through the pandemic has a lot more residents than we do. We need 20,000 more residents downtown. And this is a partnership that we built with our Downtown Alliance, which didn't exist before I became mayor. We created that in my first year as mayor. But through our Downtown Alliance, to call a plan to do that, that opportunity centers around transitioning old offices into new housing in our downtown. So that's our plan. We have big development opportunities downtown. We have opportunities to convert offices into housing. We have opportunities to continue to invest in our public realm and infrastructure, which is why you see us kicking up dust to build new roads and new parks and new transit systems to serve our downtown. There's some rocky roads underfoot. We have to acknowledge that. But if we're able to execute the plan that we have put in place with our Downtown Alliance, our Downtown Investment District, and our Downtown Development Corporation, there's some big opportunity for a bigger future downtown than we've ever experienced before.
First 2 terms as mayor, what would you give yourself? A through F.
Well, the thing is, I can't just give myself a grade because we don't. Well, here's the thing: we don't work by ourselves,
Sure.
right? Our goal has been to engage people in the process all the way along. What I told this city since day one is decisions are made to benefit the decision makers, and our goal has been to bring in a much broader set of decision makers into this city. And so, that's why every member of my cabinet who I've ever hired has been hired through a community-based hiring process. That's why every budget I've ever brought to the city council has been brought through community-based budget games, and that's why we do all of those types of things. I think we've fundamentally changed the game about what public engagement looks in a public process. I think we've brought down gunfire by 70%. We've doubled our investment, our annual investment, to rebuild our roads and our critical infrastructure. And along the way, we found new ways to help people, like our College Savings Accounts initiative, resetting medical debt, paying off $100 million in medical debt throughout the city, and being the first American city to pilot guaranteed income. I guess we'll find out on Tuesday how our residents grade that.
If you could snap your fingers right now and fix any one issue in St. Paul, what would it be?
Probably homelessness. And that's a cheating question. If I could snap my fingers and fix one question, what would it be? One issue would be homelessness. That's a cheating question because that combines a whole lot of things. That means we're building a lot more housing in our city, which we have to do and we're committed to doing. It means we're addressing the opioid crisis, which we absolutely have to do. And it means we're also simultaneously addressing some of the quality of life issues that have been front of mind for a lot of us, whether that's some of our kind of major neighborhood commercial corridors or downtown.
What's one issue you wish voters cared a little bit more about right now going into this election?
Oh, public safety. I mean, and the irony is, we can get through a whole candidate forum, and nobody asks anything about gun violence. I did an interview with a reporter, and they finished the reporter and didn't ask me anything about gun violence. And I said, "Hey, aren't you going to ask me about gun violence?" And they said, "Well, nobody's talking about that." And I said, "Aha! Like that's an incredible thing. If nobody's talking about gun violence in a mayor's race, that sounds like somebody's done a whole lot of work that's probably been pretty impactful." 5 years from now, I want us to be able to say we work together to establish our downtown for the future. That'll mean we're renovating the Grand Casino Arena. That'll mean we're wrapping our city back around the river. We sort of forgot at some point that we're a river city, but we are. That'll mean we built a whole lot more housing. That'll mean we did a good job addressing homelessness and this opioid crisis. And that'll mean as we shore up and build our momentum downtown, that'll mean we're on track for a pretty positive economic future for our whole city.